Rodney is here from Washington, D.C. Please welcome Rodney Slater.
Well, thank you, Judge Fogelman, for those most gracious words of introduction. And thank you for your leadership of this effort, along with the board and all of the other individuals involved. To Senator Bozeman, to Congressman Crawford, Senator Ingram, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Fogelman, Mayor-elect, to all of the other elected officials here gathered today on this important occasion, from far and near, to all of the individuals who have used their talents, their minds, and their ability to capture the essence of a moment, of an event, whether lawyer or author, or lawyer and author. We thank all of you for your wonderful contributions as well. And yes, to all of the veterans. You know, I just had the honor yesterday of visiting my grandfather's gravesite at Little Rock National Cemetery. And I talked to my mother about this this morning, and it's just good to celebrate not only this occasion, but as has been noted, to do so on this day. To Director Tudor and to all of the transportation enthusiasts and educators and just lovers of history here gathered this morning, know that it is my pleasure and my honor to be here on this special occasion. April 1865 was a terrible, tumultuous, and triumphant month in the history of the United States of America, in the course of democracy, and in the affairs of freedom-loving people around the world. A 4-year civil war grinding to conclusion. The great emancipator, silenced by an assassin's bullet. The nation's first ever assassination of a president. An honorable and noble surrender at Appomattox. And yes, the continuation of the nation's experiment with self-governance. And yes, our ongoing quest to become a more perfect union. Yes, April 1865 was a terrible, tumultuous, and triumphant month. Many have argued rightly that the month of April 1865 held both the agony and the ecstasy of dreams of a United States of America long deferred and hopes steadfastly realized. And of all the consequential decisions occurring over the course of that month, the interlocking destinies, the era of moments of change and challenge of that month, exquisitely chronicled, I might add, in the New York bestseller by author Jay Winnick, in his acclaimed book, April 1865. All of those things mentioned, but no mention 1865. That marks still the greatest maritime disaster in our nation's history. This fact makes today's groundbreaking ceremony and all of the efforts to bring us to this moment where we break ground on this Sultana Disaster Museum. This fact of its exclusion makes what we do all the more important, necessary, and praiseworthy. 157 years after that fateful day, April 27, 1865, we gather here in the year of our Lord, November 11th, 2020, Veterans Day, to pay tribute to the more than 1,400 Union soldiers who lost their lives in the Mississippi River as a result of the explosion. But we also respectfully and appropriately acknowledge the deeply human and valiant response of this southern region's residents who responded during the tragedy by putting themselves in danger in an effort to rescue and provide life-saving care to those who survived the blast. Names represented on this podium. Names represented in this audience. That so few people know about the tragedy is partly, and I believe likely due to the chaos and the uncertainty created by the gut-wrenching events of the month of April 1865. And I believe no less the loss of President Lincoln. And here, not solely because his tragic death understandably drew the attention and sorrow elsewhere, as much as because we were not so fortunate as to have his suffering heart, his sobering voice, his steadfast spirit give expression and meaning to the tragedy. He was not there as he was during his first inaugural address, March 4th, 1861, when the war was still smoldering in a distance, and he challenged his fellow Americans, North and South, to be guided by the, quote, better angels of our nature. He was not there as he was at Gettysburg, November 19th, 1863, to eulogize our fallen comrades, North and South, as not having died in vain, and to remind us of the nation's sacred proposition that all men are created equal, and that government of the people, and by the people, and for the people, shall never perish from the earth. No, no, no. He was not there as he was, but 54 days earlier, during his second inaugural address on March 4th, 1865, when he could literally and gratefully sense that the war was near an end. And he sought to heal a divided nation with not only the words, but the determination and the belief with malice towards none, with charity to all, with firmness to the right, as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the wounds of our nation. For our purposes, Lincoln would have clearly grasped the sad hands of better angels. God bless the memory of the soldiers of the Sultana steamship on that fateful day, April 27, 1865. God bless the better angels, a lasting memorial museum that we dedicate, that we consecrate, and that we, with their memory and the memory of the better angels, employ to hallow